Hola, Madridistas. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. It has been a nice little break, a much needed break. It was, a constant, post match after
Hola,
preview, after
Madridistas.
special. Welcome back. Very eventful season for all of us. Um, yeah, I'll come to you, boys first, man. What's the holiday vibe like, Farouk? Talk to us. Euros going on. We were here for the Champions League final. What's the general vibe like? Mbappe is here. A couple more signings on the way.
Yeah, man, there is no better time to be a Real Madrid fan. Defending European and domestic champion. You have the best player in the world joining the team. Adding to already the interesting prospects that we have. It's great, man. All these sad things. Like football has to take a break, and yeah, it's sad. Like it does not give the Euros doesn't just give the same texture and vibe. But yeah, man, like we're just enjoying what we can, and also it's also good sometimes to just take a step back and take it all in and understand, what it means and, enjoy being a Real Madrid fan at this point in time.
More? Mhm. Por la sexta, decimosexta, it has to be one of the biggest objectives, to kind of retain the Champions League post Cristiano. I'm not going to stress it enough. Because this is a season review for 23-24. But yeah, 24-25 is already looking exciting, a lot more exciting for both the club, how the team is shaping up, for us, as a fan movement as well. um Again, before we kind of start this off, I would like to extend gratitude and immense honor in actually having a backbone of our support coming through for three back-to-back years, especially um on our audio platforms. I really have to stress it because people don't see it. um we do have a very strong YouTube community as well, but yeah, the audio, the people tuning in on audio really requires a special mention. And yeah, man, we have quite the task, right? I mean, last year's season review was a bit more problematic, for obvious reasons, but I think this one would be a bit more straightforward. I wouldn't say it would be boring, because we have different opinions on different players and we look at the game differently. Even if a player had an exceptional season, some may tend to kind of look at it in a different light. You didn't have to do him dirty like that, but yeah, Farouk is an example. I have my fair hot takes as well throughout the season. So does Mo. But yeah, Farouk is the notorious. He just likes the limelight, doesn't he? um but yeah, this year, unlike gone. Hmm. Yeah, the limelight. That's a
No
good way to
comment.
put it.
No comment.
That's a good way to put it, because Farouk is almost like this enigma, that really feeds the paparazzi, if I must say. But unlike the previous couple of years, we're going to tackle it a bit differently. This year, we used to do it based on positions. We used to tackle the goalkeepers, the defenders, etc., etc. But now I think to kind of make it a bit more compact and a bit easy to kind of uh, digress. I think going off after discussing the staple starting 11 for the season and then moving on to um, the supporting cast would be the best way to tackle this. But yeah, without wasting much more time, Lunin, right? I'll start off. Mm, no, we could bring up the team maker once we have kind of settled on the verdict, right? We don't need it right now. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Right. 100%. I mean, a good idea. I am a bit behind in terms of all this, but yeah, more that's an excellent suggestion. Actually, we could do something like that. And but yeah, people in the chat as well. Feel free to chip in. This is our season review. It's like what Luca said. This is a two-way street, like I always mention. Um, look what Luca said in his, in the Champions League winning speech. At the Bernabeu. But yeah, um, Lunin, right? Andre Lunin. I'll kick him off. For me, phenomenal season. I was one of those guys who were, very, very taken aback, but not surprised by the fact that he kind of lost his position after Thibaut came back. Andre Lunin, but then again, I was mentioning it to the boys yesterday that he, yes, although he might be a bit culpable for one of the goals or maybe a couple of goals in Ukraine's 3-0 defeat to Romania, he was kind of dropped, and then the other goalkeeper, I forget to remember his name. I can't remember his name. Ruben, yeah, he's a great keeper as well. I've heard good things about him, but he didn't look exactly, great either. Um, but yeah, I feel. Mm, mm, 2021, where Marcelo started and whatnot. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm, 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 mhm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'll be surprised, the coach would give Lunin any flowers anymore in the tournament, but I don't know. I don't see it. If that is if Ukraine actually go through. But for me, Lunin has to be up there. He has to be at least good. Good is the bare minimum. In our tiers for Lunin, um, the way he had to kind of overcome not just the emotional side of the mental side of the obstacles throughout the season, especially watching Kepa walk in and kind of take his mantle, then having to go through the whole cartwheel, the carousel of keepers with Carlo, hanging in there, biding his time, and yeah, coming up clutch, and especially against City. We all know the two penalties he saved was the catalyst in why we are 15-time European champions. Nobody can deny that, and the countless other games that he has, saved us. Leipzig, I can remember where we were on the ropes at home against, very, very motivated Leipzig side who just smelled blood. He stood tall. Um, in La Liga as well, numerous times, like, yes, he has some weaknesses. People used to uh, kind of target him, from corners. His positioning was, under scrutiny for a while, but Lunin really is one of the MVPs of the season. I think the only people who can really chat to him this season would be Vinny and Jude in terms of the importance, and Rudiger, obviously, in terms of importance. Lunin has to be up there. For me personally, he's world class this season. This season, in its isolation, he is world class. But I'll come to you, Farouk, bro. Take it away.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's just read out some stats, before we delve into it. Like Lunin, started 31 matches for Real Madrid, considered 32 goals. Had a save percentage of about 77%. And yeah, as you rightly said, Shane, like Lunin, I think he superseded all expectations. Like even I wasn't, sure that he was capable of reaching the levels that he reached. And he basically is an MVP, man. Like he saved our season. Like. Okay, let's not say save our season, but like, he was crucial to our season. He was important, in what happened or not, especially as you highlighted, the penalty shootout against Man City. Like he saved two penalties, and I mean, without that, we definitely don't proceed to the game against Bayern Munich. But again, one stat I also would like to point out is that it's like 32 goals conceded in 31 matches with an expected conceded goals of 33. So like, okay, then like if you're expected to concede 33 goals and you consider 32, like there isn't much differential and they're like you're not, becoming an X factor. And like that's not okay, like that sounds like maybe I'm like kind of like trying to shit on him, but I'm just trying to pinpoint that the reason why he's not gonna get into my world class tier is this, you understand? He's good, he was good and he came clutch in certain matches and stuff like that. But it's not like he was a differential maker like to that extent. I mean, we have seen games where the opponent will have an expected goal of three, and they actually scored zero against Thibaut Courtois. You understand? Like that's the difference between these two guys. You understand? Like Lunin came, did a job, answered the call, phenomenal. But like, is Lunin someone that I would, be happy to invest in as my number one going into the next years? Definitely not. That's just it. Like for this season, definitely he punched it above his weight, and even in that case, you can still see he's still considered 32 from an expected 33 goals. You understand? That's even when he punched above his weight. You understand? Like that's when he improved a lot from what we've seen in the past. Maybe continue to bring, him to get better because like he's still young, he's only 24, and we know keepers only win pick till when they're like 29, 30 and shit like that. So maybe he might get better, maybe not. But yeah, I just, for me this season, Lunin, he's done a job, but yeah, he's still just, below that world class level.
Mo? So I think that settles it. 2-1 for Lunan. World class, deservedly so. But yeah, Farouk has always told me that uh, he is happy with Lunan, but yeah, the expectation is people quote. So I completely agree. Um, who's next on our list? Carvajal, right? Like, where should I start with Monster Moncia? Danny Carvajal, man, matching his goal tally from the last decade. Um, he has, surprisingly,
Who's next on our list?
to
Carvajal,
many,
right?
has,
Like, where should I start
shown that
with
he can really do a
Monster
job from corners,
Moncia?
which I, completely never expected him to have that kind of, aerial prowess for someone who is not even 6. He's not even 5'11". He has his reading of the game.
Surprisingly, who's next on?
The way that the gluten Carvajal has kind of redefined longevity and just the ability to basically shut down you name it, the best wingers in Europe, one after the other. Um, it's a tremendous achievement, and to be actually you know winning 6 Champions Leagues in this modern era again, um, tying Paco Hento, speaks for itself. Cantera, laid the stone at the Di Stefano. And just goes to show what his story has been, throughout his Real Madrid career. He barely spent a season at loan at on loan at Leverkusen, and he was back. And I remember how excited I was, watching him um, break into that right back position and make him his own for the good part of a decade. It's crazy what this man has gone on to do and will keep on doing, because we all know it's only a matter of if he can really shake off his niggling injury demons, which he has successfully managed to over the past couple of years or so. Although he needs rest, we might need an ample, because
Backup
we all
to
know
kinda, rest him
it's only a
in games
matter
that
of
we
if we can
absolutely don't
really
need him.
But yeah, for the big occasion, there is no one else, no right back, at least post 2010s, can really speak to Dani Carvajal and what he brings to the table, what he has achieved. For me, world class. Mo, take it away.
Yeah, I think there was an issue with the mic, so my audio might not have transmitted like till now. So, but like I'm trying. I think I fixed it. It should be fine now. So
Dani Carvajal
Okay.
and what he brings to the table, what he has achieved. For me, world class. Mo, take it away.
yeah, I think there was an issue. Yeah, I think it's fixed now. So about Carvajal, I think like you said, like I agree with everything you said. Carvajal had a brilliant season this year. Uh, I've always been a big fan of Danny Carvajal. The performances that he gave, we had doubts about his injuries and stuff, but this season he has totally removed those doubts. I think gluten-free Carvajal became kind of like a legend in his own right on the social media. So for me, I'm pretty satisfied with how his performances went. And I think you said like you wanted to place him in world class. So for me, I would agree with that.
Farouk.
Yeah, definitely, man. I can't, think of anything other than world class for Danny Carvajal right now. He's someone who, has been doubted, primarily by myself as well. I've always thought like, Carvajal needs, and one thing also about Carvajal is that, it's not just about the doubts. It's also about, the doubt around his fitness, and fortunately, this year he was able to string together, extended period in the team. He played 41 games, created 6 goals and scored 6 goals as well. That tells us a lot about, having a 12-goal contribution, from the right back position. And as you rightly said, like in the post 2010s, of course, you have all the what they talk about with the modern fullbacks, one underlaps, overlaps, and whatever the jargon is these days. But like Carvalho is Carvalho. Like Carvalho has literally shown that he's gonna do the little things, the right things right, and do it to the very, to the very optimum, to the elite level. And for this season, I don't think, anything other than a world class, will serve Johnny Carvalho, right? Because I just don't think of a right back right now in the world, that Carvalho can replace, or that Carvalho wouldn't replace, rather.
A couple of brilliant Carvalho moments, that I managed to kind of, it really took me a lot of time because, you guys know my memory is shit, but I did my due research, for this season. It deserves it. His impressive equalizer, Sevilla away. I remember how difficult that game was, Ramos all fired up, Sanchez pick one. We all know, when Madrid visits Sevilla, it's an occasion itself. It was a game that wasn't really going our way. Unfortunate Alaba own goal, and then come at the man. Carvalho set climbs above everyone else. Planted the header, beautiful finish. Again, sensational volley against Valencia at home. First time volley. He just has that knack for finishing that I haven't really seen in Carvalho for a while. We all remember the Super Cup goal, the winner. There was at least a teaser. We have seen Carvalho finish some nice goals, but this season, I think, should be the season where he has just shown consistently. Even after the season finished, we all saw the goal he scored for Spain as well. Striker's instinct. This man just knows what finish to, put, in a given scenario. It's just incredible. Again, 90 plus 9 winner against Almeria, where Jude basically hits it across the box and then, Carvalho nicks it in. He has had so many clutch moments this season. Again, the goal in the final speaks for itself. Carvalho has to be world class. And people who don't rate Carvalho really has either a Madrid agenda or are just, purely idiotic. I mean, this guy is just a legend even before he has hit 35, 34. It's incredible.
I'd like to add to that, Sunil, also we have to give credit to people behind the scenes as well. I was actually reading an interview, with your guy, Francesco Mori, and they were talking about the fact that how, he was the one who actually devised, the set pieces with Carvalho and Lucas Vazquez. He was like, we needed to, to put unusual players in unusual positions, and they weren't, any smarter players like that could achieve that, than Carvalho and Lucas Vazquez. Because when you look at their height wise, this is not someone that's necessarily, going to be threatening on corners and set pieces and stuff like that. But then, it's something that's paid off really well. We are, just to add to the list of the goals you mentioned as well, the Champions League final as well, it's literally another carbon copy of that. So, that's, give credit to the people working behind the scenes.
Which interview was that? Was it for Amazon Italia?
Yeah, it was for Amazon after the final.
Oh, okay. Can you send me the link as well? Because I haven't seen the full version. Yeah?
All right. I will do that.
Thank you so much, man. But there you go. Some insider info right there. These men really know what they're doing. It's just bought out by design. Like you just said, Vasquez and Carvalho really, being a target for set pieces is unorthodox, but super effective. But world class. We are agree with that. Should be straightforward, right? Should have been straightforward for Carvalho. Rudiger, I'll ask Mo to go first.
Rudiger. I mean, he's world class, right? There's no other option.
Super effective. Absolutely.
For me, he was brilliant this season. Real Madrid, I don't think we would have reached where we reached without Rudiger. So for me, it's completely world class. There's no other option for Rudiger.
I'll ask you a simple question. Don't take offense. Farouk, we had a very heart-to-heart conversation regarding Rudiger in the Champions League final, where I asked Farouk.
Okay.
You and Mo weren't really confident when he was coming in, but I was. So finally, can you agree to that you didn't expect the height to which Rudiger has taken his game, at least this season, especially in the back four?
Definitely not. I did not expect Rudiger to reach this level. I did not think Rudiger had this level. So for me personally, is it a surprise? yes, it is a good surprise. Like, I think he was a good defender. Like we said, he was a good defender. What we worried about him was the fact that he had the, uh, I don't remember the exact word that I used, but like I was kind of like, I did not think he would reach this level where he's like comfortably challenging.
Honestly,
for potentially
I didn't either, but
potentially challenging for being the best defender in the world. So for me, Rudiger this season was the best center back in the world. Did I think he had this in him when Real Madrid signed him? No, but right now he has completely he has completely exceeded the expectation that Real Madrid had with him next season, because even going into the season, Ancelotti said that Alaba and Militao were gonna be his center backs, right? Despite whatever Rudiger did last season. So for me, going into next season, the situation is not going to be the same. It's going to be Rudiger +1. So this is how much he has changed the situation around. I think this season he has really stepped up and delivered when Real Madrid have needed him to. He has transformed himself to the perfect Real Madrid defender. I think we've discussed this before as well. Real Madrid defenders need to be able to defend on their own, right? Because the way Real Madrid attack is, sometimes it could be like there's only one guy defending the transition. And Rudiger this season, even when he was the one guy defending transition, he did incredibly well. There were times when everybody else was injured, only Rudiger was fit. He kind of stepped up and delivered. So for me personally, Rudiger has been world class this season. And I think just to add to that Carvajal conversation, because I just realized Carvajal this season has also played the center back against Girona, if you guys remember that game. So if we found a new aspect to Carvajal this season, and he delivered, and just like Carvajal, Rudiger also delivered.
Farooq.
Yeah, man, definitely, like, and just to touch on what Mo was saying, like, the point is like, the different combinations, because we always talk about, consistency with defenders and lack thereof, the different combinations that Rudiger has had to play with this season. Tchouameni, Nacho, Carval at limited or not limited or whatever it is, like it's been really, really interesting, and at times he's been having to defend the island and on his own, and like Rudiger has literally being able to he was called and he answered the call, and more importantly, again, what more essential about that, as a Real Madrid defender, you literally know that you're always on your own, but the point is, Real Madrid defenders have always strike fear into opposition attackers, and we saw that, like, attackers are running at times, but like rather than defend the island, they're trying to run away from
he has transformed himself to the perfect defender.
So that's how much Rudiger has moved. And just to add to again what Mo said, like, you just can't think of any scenario other than Rudiger +1 for Real Madrid going forward right now. Of course, reservations are there, doubts are there, and this and that. But this is the thing you want about players, like, this is the thing you want about players who play for Real Madrid, right? You come to the team, there are doubts, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's this and that. But you just, you weather the storm, put your head down, go to work and show, the world why you're where you are. Because the point is, Real Madrid didn't buy you for a reason. Of course, they scouted, they knew the stuff, and they expected stuff to happen, you understand? And Rudiger this season has shown that, he belongs with the big boys, or rather, he is the big boy, he himself. So definitely, Tony Rudiger, world class. There is no doubt about that.
His winner against Mallorca at home, Luka Modric corner, gave me at least a lot more faith in because I've been very vocal with the fact that we haven't had actual goal threats for a long time from set pieces, especially headers, and Rudiger has given me a lot of renewed faith and hope, especially this season, how he has been constantly getting on the end of things, or just by his mere presence, putting opposition defenses in disarray. So, yeah, man, Rudiger, no question, world class. But yeah, who is on our list next? It should be Nacho. Farooq, take it away.
Yeah, man, the boy who had the dream, and the dream was completed, man. Like, he lifting the UCL, lifting the La Liga, as the captain of the club, that's phenomenal. And I do remember very well when the season started, where the injuries started to pile up. Nacho had really, I remember, like, there were 2 games back to back where maybe I'm wrong, 2 or 3 games back to back where he literally got red cards for stupid shit. But one of them literally came on, and after a couple of minutes he got sent off, and for the other one, whatever stimulus, like, he got sent off for like very silly things, and we were questioning the fact that, okay, like, maybe it's better to start Tchouameni, rather than doing it Nacho. But that's another thing about Nacho as well. Like, when the doubt starts to creep in, he steps up and he reminds us that, okay, he's been at this club for more than 10 years now, and there's a reason he's still been here. There's a reason he is the captain of Real Madrid, and Nacho honestly like stepped up a lot, this year, and then he is one of the reasons. I always remember this, like, I we went to the Etihad, and I think in the first 2 or 3 minutes, he literally bundled the ball for Haaland, to set the tempo that, okay, yeah, we're not here to, to joke around here. We're here, to do our job. We're here to get something done, like. And yeah, Nacho has been phenomenal, So with the captain's armband and everything, I think it's just a dream come true, or rather a dream completed, by an hardworking man. And if you remember, we talked about this, like, I think Nacho is the person you want to show to play to young kids. It's not the Carvajals or the Cristianos or all that. No, like Carvajal, Cristiano is an anomaly. Carvajal is a world class player and everything. With all due respect, like, I don't think Nacho is a world class player in the same way we talked about Tony Rudiger and all those guys. But the point is, it's someone who walked out and put his head down and got the job done. You understand? So I think, like, these are the kind of people you need to show to kids at the academy that, okay, not everyone is going to become Cristiano, not everyone is going to be Benzema and Gareth Bale and all those guys. But with hard work, you can get to be the level of of people like Nacho. You can achieve your dreams. You can reach to the very top of Mount Everest. Where there's literally nothing except for you. So that's the thing, man. Like, Nacho is a model of consistency, a model of hard work, and whatever happens next, like, we will forever be grateful for a player like Nacho who never complains. Gets the job done, right back, left back, center back. I mean, whatever is needed by the team, puts his head down, gets the job done. And honestly, it's been a phenomenal season. I don't want to be sentimental, but if I go with the sensationalism and say, okay, Nacho pass this season, but yeah, just put him in the good tier for that. Let's just keep it where it is.
Yeah, Farouk, don't cry now, okay?
You can take it away more. For Nacho.
The thing is, like, the thing I was wondering when I was looking at the tier list was, like, maybe are we gonna put everybody in the world class tier? Then the whole thing is gonna go.
No, absolutely.
Well, yeah, personally, I kind of agree with Farouk. Like, this season has been wonderful. Nacho has achieved the dream that he wanted to achieve with Real Madrid. Having said that, I'll put him in good tier. I wouldn't put him in world class tier because although performances towards the end were, like, brilliant, especially against the guys like Haaland and everybody, but before that there were some suspect moments. So for me personally, I kind of put Nacho in the good tier. And about everything, I mean, Farouk has spoken pretty well. There is nothing for me to add more to that. The fact that this might be his last season and he goes out winning the Champions League and La Liga is like is a beautiful end to a beautiful story that Nacho had with Real Madrid. This guy has been at the club since he was age 11. To go out at whatever number of years old he is, to have his history, to have his, the fact that he was suffering from diabetes but still managed to make a great career for himself. For me, he's like Farouk said, he's an inspiration for everybody, more than players like Cristiano or, maybe Benzema and whatever, because those guys are, like, born with, they're born with insane amount of talent. But Nacho is a guy Nacho also has a good amount of talent. It isn't like he's some sloucher, who doesn't.
You show him the goal, you show people the goal that he scored in the Copa. They would say, he definitely has talent, the bicycle kick.
I mean, he definitely has the talent. He also has, but the thing that everybody needs to learn from is the fact that how he has persevered through everything, how he's worked hard, and he has achieved his dreams. So for me personally, agree with Farouk. He goes into good tier for me, and overall, Nacho, what a wonderful career he's had at Real Madrid.
I was lucky enough to be around, when he actually made his debut under Jose, and fresh-faced, a bit chubby, kind of in the shadows. There were promising signs. There is a reason why he was included in the Champions League squad in 2014 as well. Has been actually been relied on by the club during a good part of 15 years or so. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. Nacho definitely wasn't world class this season, but yeah, has to be good. And they were let's not kid ourselves. There were definitely signs of world class plays from Nacho. The City tie is a huge example. The Dortmund game, yes, when it looks like it's always going to fall apart with Nacho, he just finds a way. Just finds a way, man. Is it Madridismo? Is it just pure determination? Is it just that, when the stakes are the highest, so some players just have that knack to have their heads screwed on more so than their peers. Nacho is a specimen and will be studied and will be analyzed in much higher detail than what we have done, at least throughout his recent career. More like what is the issue?
Now you said
Why are you smirking?
you said he's gonna be analyzed. So I was kind of wondering, aliens coming to the Earth and taking some specimens, so maybe not.
No. Like as someone who is kind of underrated.
No,
Right?
I
Like
totally
someone
understand where
who,
you're coming from, but it was this kind of funny situation that popped in my head.
you made it completely go fucking sci-fi, yeah. But yeah, man, Nacho actually walking away with just the fifth double in the club's great history is tremendous. And yeah, man, world class. Probably could have been, it could have been the case for Nacho if slight some of his erratic moments were kind of cut out from the season. But Nacho is human. All it matters is that he contributed immensely towards the last couple of months where we needed him the most. And yeah, man, Nacho always a Real Madrid legend. Mendy, is it Mo next?
Yeah, Mendy next.
Right. Always has been a Mendy stan, always will be a Mendy stan. I will never understand why Davis is tipped to be the next big thing. All the left backs that has been talked about eventually will fall prey to the consistency that Mendy brings if he can stay fit. He has his occasional brain farts here and there, where he decides that he can, where he shows like unwarranted bravery in certain situations, which really can make you make your heart patient. But apart from that, the consistency, the solidity he brings to the back line is unprecedented, and something that has been lacking in the Real Madrid ranks for a long time. As good as Marcelo was, going forward, defensively, yes, he could, hold his own. Of course, he could more than hold his own, but he wasn't really that guy who basically guaranteed with defensive stability. But yeah, Mendy's that guy, and I guess in this modern era where our team has shifted quite a bit, especially the way it functions, Mendy is an irreplaceable cog in this well-oiled machine. And man, this man hasn't lost a game, at the Bernabeu since he debuted. So Mendy, world class. There's no questions about it. Bar maybe a couple of games where he kind of was off color. I think tremendous season. Another tremendous season from Mendy. But Farouk, take it away, bro.
Yeah, first things first, two things, like, is he replaceable? 100%. Is he world class? Definitely not. Just to comment on the two things he made. Mendy was phenomenal this year. He's above average, but definitely below world class. The point is, Mendy plays as a fullback, has 0 assists across around 40 appearances. Bro, like, I'm sorry, but what are you talking about? I mean, even Rudiger has 2 assists. Like, he played around. I think. Oh, let's just.
You want your wing backs to get assists. I want my wing backs to be a lot more defensively solid in games where we are cut open.
Yeah, so like Mendy played 37 matches and he started 33 of those, and he has 1 goal, 3 shots on targets across this amount of time, and 0. He has 10 crosses across 37 matches, and he has 0 assists. Okay.
No, I get it. It's definitely a blemish.
Mendy is the best defensive fullback in the game. I will definitely never argue with that. I totally understand what it is and what it is not. But the point is, in this day and age, in my opinion, at a team like Real Madrid, like, we cannot afford to have such inadequacies, in my opinion. The point is this, like, it's not like you can either have one or that. I don't think anyone will come here and tell me that Carvalho is a shitty defender. No, definitely Carvalho is not a shitty defender. Carvalho is one of the best defenders in the game. But then Carvalho also is one of the best offensive fullbacks in the game. So the point now becomes like, okay, yeah, because Mendy. I mean, even White, who plays as Arsenal, was a centre back who's converted into a fullback. I think Rice had White has around 10 goals contribution. He's a centre back who is converted into a fullback.
Yeah.
So the point, in my opinion, like he was good, above average, and definitely very replaceable. And also, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just something that he has to develop, and he hasn't. The issue I have with Mendy is this: firstly, he's always injured. Okay, last season for some weird reason we got fortunate he wasn't injured. Secondly, why aren't you developing this aspect of your game? It's been 4 seasons.
I mean, there is a player in there, at least offensively. We all remember his goal against Atlanta. Like he can pick a spot, you know. But,
I'm getting you, but like you cannot start, picking one here, one there across 4 seasons, bro. Like 10 crosses in 37 appearances. That's less than a cross a game, bro.
But don't you think that is a clear
bro? One through ball in 37 appearances. A through ball, bro, is just playing a split. It can even be a ball that goes out. It's just a through ball,
bro. If you really deep
games.
If you really deep it, I think it's a clear managerial instruction. I think it's a tactic that people don't really want him to do stuff that might put the team in a situation of bother. Probably
the point is this, like,
but then Sunil, the question is like, why do the management does not want him to do certain things?
Thank you.
Probably
the point is you cannot.
Probably he's not. So what do you guys want me to say? That he's mid?
No,
I wouldn't.
No, you don't have to say anything. It's just Farouk's opinion.
No, I know. Like he
might
not.
For me personally, I think just to guide this direction forward, this discussion forward, I think for a big question is what is our barrier of world class, and I think I might have kind of put myself in a hole by putting Lunin in world class. Now that I think about it, can I take it back and put him in the good category?
You could still change it. You could still change it.
For me personally,
for me, he's world class.
For me, the thing about Ferland Mendy is the fact that there are 2 versions of Ferland Mendy, right? There is the defensive Ferland Mendy and there is the offensive one. And I think Farouk kind of does agree with me here. For me, defensively, Ferland Mendy is world class. But when you combine it with his offensive output, it's not. Offensive output is like below average. So when you combine the two, I mean, because the thing is, Ferland Mendy has given us very important contributions in very important matches defensively. So for that reason, there is no way I'm going to put him in average or below average or whatever. So this guy has definitely to be in the good or world class tier. Defensively, he's been impressive. But when it comes to offensive contribution, there were so many games where we wondered, I wish we had another player who could combine with the attackers, especially from the fullback position, so that we could create something against teams that were sitting too deep. There were multiple moments like these in the season, and for me, for that particular reason, I have to put Mendy in good and not in world class. And I think I kind of have to walk back what I said about Lunin as well. For me, Lunin was world class, but now that I think about it, now that I kind of see how this discussion is going to evolve, is like Rudiger and Carvajal at the same level as Lunin? Lunin was like maybe a level below those guys. So for me, I think I kind of have to walk back, and I mean, I'm lucky nobody actually heard what I said when I was talking about Lunin. So, for me, I have to kind of walk back Lunin as well, and I think maybe those 2 guys should go into the good category.
But it doesn't matter for Lunin because even Farouk said he was world class, right? So
Farouk said he was good.
Oh, so then it changes the equation. Yeah. So so Lunin and Mendy in good, yeah? Fair enough. Farouk, did you finish your Mendy thing?
I think more rightly summed it up, man. Like the point is just like you want more from someone, and the issue I have with Mendy personally is that how are you not evolving as a footballer, bro? How you're 24 years old, not like you're 30, man. If you're 30, like you're at the tail end of your career, like I know things cannot change, but how are you not evolving, man? Like honestly, I feel like there are levels to hit. And I didn't see him when he was playing for Lyon. Maybe that's how he's always been. Maybe there's been some offensive output there, but like come on, like you can evolve as a footballer, man. I'm giving again the example of White, man. White was a centre back turned to a fullback, and the man is combining with his players, man, scoring goals, creating chances. You have 10 crosses. Okay, yeah, I know, like it's not like we have target man and shit like that, but you have 10 crosses in how many matches? I think for comparison, Fran Garcia has 6 assists in the season, man. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, of course, Fran Garcia played against weak oppositions in certain situations. Yeah, that's true. But also, Mendy also played against weak opposition.
Ungrateful
but
biatches.
Farouk, I also say that Fran actually had a couple of very important assists. I remember that game against Sociedad where we were trailing. I think it was at the Bernabeu, and he kind of made an important assist for Joselu to get us back in the game.
So exactly.
Yeah. Yep, so I think that kind of furthers your point. Sometimes you need your fullbacks. You need players who can contribute in both aspects of the game. For Mendy, I think is like brilliant defensively, but offensively he kind of struggles a bit. So that is the only reason. Like to Sunet's point, I mean, I'm not being ungrateful. I'm not saying that he's a shit player. I'm just saying that he's not world class. He's a good player. He had a good season.
I look at the package. Personally.
But you're looking at the package, but you're only looking at defensively. You're not looking at offensively. Like you're not combining the whole thing. You're just looking at him as defensively and saying, okay, man. You say that we want to look at the whole package, but doesn't the whole package also involve his offensive contributions?
Definitely, yes. See, let me ask you this, right? Mm-hmm. I've always been vocal about if someone is shit, he is shit, right? Like I wouldn't shy away from, like I would go maybe a couple of match days backing him up, but after that, like I would really wake up. For me, I completely get where you guys come from and where the majority of the fan base comes from. But there is a certain section of the fan base like me who thinks that, yes, Mendy don't really contribute offensively, where, in some games, Vinny might look like he has to, carry the entire fucking left flank. I get that. But as a package, what I mean is if his defensive capabilities massively overweigh what he lacks offensively, I think it is kind of credit to Mendy.
The thing is, like, because his defensive contributions massively outshine what he brings offensively, that is why he's in the good tier. If his defensive contributions did not massively outshine it, he would be in the average tier. But because they do, that's why he's in the good tier. I mean, I kind of understand why you were like. See, this is why the first thing I said when we started this discussion was the fact that what is our barrier for world class? Right, world class is somebody who's absolutely integral. For me, and that is why I kind of walked back to my Lunin thing, because for me personally,
and do you think Mendy wasn't integral?
I mean, he was important for Real Madrid like this season. He had great contributions, but then so did Nacho and so did Lunin, and that is why
without Mendy we won't win anything.
I mean, without Nacho and without Lunin also we wouldn't be winning. But the thing is, like these guys, Carvajal and Rudiger, they were like absolutely integral. Yeah, they were the reason why Real Madrid was like in important moments, in key moments. These guys performed something, and not only did they perform what was expected of them, they went ahead and did things that weren't expected of them. I mean, look at the Champions League semi-final, right? Who was the guy who put in the assist for Joselu goal? It was Rudiger. So for me, these are the moments where you need players to contribute, and these are the moments where guys like Carvajal and Rudiger are like stepped up and made themselves be counted. I mean, Ferland Mendy, brilliant player. I completely agree with you when you say that you would prefer him to Davies. For me personally, I've been pretty vocal about the fact that I would actually love Mendy to be renewed and for him to continue. But then the thing is, like, when you look at the Real Madrid squad and kind of compare like which players had the world-class season, which player had a good season, which player had an average season, for me, he was a level below Vinicius and Jude Bellingham and all the others.
So I have a question. I have a quick question.
Go on.
Real Madrid and Galactico 11. It's Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, and Rudiger, and then Mendy, and Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Bellingham, Fede Valverde, Vinicius, and Mbappe. Who is the weak spot in this team? Who is the weakest player in this team?
No comments. You might think it's Mendy. For me,
you just don't want to answer, man. That's the thing. You just don't want to answer.
I don't think there is a significant weakness that I look.
If I'm an opposition coach, if I'm a coach of the opposition, definitely I target that space that exists between Mendy and Vinicius Junior, because I know Mendy wouldn't go forward, I know Vinicius wouldn't go back, and there is no synergy between that in that wing. Of course,
I think they combine pretty well. I think the only thing is where Mendy really don't have the offensive output in terms of crosses. Man, like, are you watching the same games I do? Because Vinny and Mendy, they combine well when the game needs it.
Bro, a through ball is a triangle in FIFA, bro. The triangle you press gives you a through ball. You know better than me. You play FIFA much more than I do. This is what a through ball means. In 37 matches, you have one through ball and you're telling me about combination, bro. What is he combining with? Empty space?
Anyway, boys, You guys have your opinion. I have mine. This won't go anywhere. I think Mendy is integral, more integral than one more thinks. Mendy is. For me, he is irreplaceable.
Okay,
And
Suned, Ashik said
frankly
something.
speaking,
Ashik said
yeah,
something that I kind of like. He said, "World class players shine at the clutch moments. They grab the bull by the horn and drag the team out of the abyss when when all hope is lost." I don't think for me personally, Mendy is not that guy. Whereas Carvajal and Rudiger are those people. So for me, I think that's the simplest way of putting it.
he might not have had those kind of moments this season, but do you forget the clearance against City, right? I mean, a couple of years ago. He has it in him. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean,
Anyway,
he is
we
good
should
at
move
his
on.
job. He's brilliant at his job, but
Mm.
he doesn't have that little bit extra that you need to be pushed into the world class category.
You guys will realize what we miss with
Nah, man,
Mendy once he
the
moves
thing is,
on.
like, you are absolutely framing it as if, like, if you don't put him in world class, we think he's shit. He's not shit. We absolutely understand that he's.
No, I completely agree. I
So
completely
I don't
agree.
really
I
understand
mean,
this point that you guys will realize. I mean, we already realized that. We agree with that. We are kind of echoing what you're saying.
the
But the only difference
no,
is,
the
like,
way Farouk,
nah, man,
the way Farouk is putting it,
even
you
Farouk
know,
agrees with that assertion that Mendy is like integral defensively. What
defensively,
he's what
yes.
he's saying is that Mendy doesn't have that extra bit offensively that
Hmm.
propels him from good into world class.
Yeah, I think,
I mean, and it's
fair
that's the
enough,
thing.
fair
So
enough.
it's fine. It's fine,
Yeah,
and we all agree. We all agree
yeah.
this on here that we would rather have Mendy over the current version of Alfonso Davies. We all agree on this. You understand? But the point is this, and that's what I'm trying to say, is that a team doesn't need to have 11 world-class players. We can have players that have, don't have certain things, have certain things. Not everyone has to be Carvalho, you understand? But what I'm just saying is that I wouldn't rank Carvalho world-class and then put Mendy in the same thing. I mean, bro, that's an insult to Dani Carvalho, bro. Like, put some respect on the man's name, bro. That's just the thing.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, it's your opinion. That's why we discuss it, right? Like, otherwise, I would just go a
Definitely.
player by a single person, right? So that's my opinion, and I respect your guys' opinion as well. So let's move on. We are already 45 minutes in, I think. We should keep it moving. Who is next on our list?
Chouameni.
Mo, is it Fede?
Chouameni.
Okay, Chouameni. Right. Where should I begin with Chouameni, man? When he came in, he was a breath of fresh air. The year before, we all knew what he brought to the table, what kind of a player he is. People had their doubts regarding what's his optimal position. Is he better as box to box? Is he better as a six? Me and Mo, we had this discussion throughout the entirety of the previous season. Um, what position would kind of accentuate his strong points. But this season, the way he has kind of become so integral as part of the pivot, sometimes with Cruz, other times with as a lone six, part of the diamond. He has taken his game, another level. Okay. Let's be honest. This isn't the peak that Chouameni has. In his Arsenal, I feel like he has a lot more polishing. Probably that can be done. But yeah, one slight blemish on his season would be the fact that when he got injured, and then Carlos switched from Chouameni to the Cruz Fede pivot, we didn't really miss him. That's the only slight blemish he probably would have on his otherwise stellar season. Long range goals, you name it, clutch headers against Girona away, that kind of set the tone. Very important fixture, start of the season, 3-0 away victory. A couple of iconic celebrations. His Archer, celebration has kind of become a thing. He's looking good. He's looking good. I feel like the biggest threat to his position right now would be, how come a winger, keeps on doing what he has been doing, especially from the bench. But with Cruz leaving, the minutes are going to be a lot more evenly, spread out. So I think they can succeed well, probably in a pivot, Kamavinga and Chouameni. But yeah, at least to start the next season, Carlo would fall back on what bought him a historic double. But yeah, Chouameni has been exceptional. For me, he should be good. Um, there is definitely signs, flashes of world class. Many of our players this season had flashes of world class. Chouameni probably next season, fingers crossed. But more, take it away.
I agree with everything you said. So for me as well, I think Chouameni goes into world class. Sorry, good. It kind of harkens back to the discussion that we had, like what is the barrier for world class. For me, Chouameni hasn't reached that, but then like you said, he has shown flashes of potential of getting there. Hopefully, he'll be there next season. But for me, this season, like you said, like you excellently recapped everything. You recapped all his performances, all his high points. So for me, the fact that he was not only able to adapt to playing as a CDM, but also as the fact that he adapted to playing as a center back. When the team demanded it, and he gave us better ball progression when he played as a center back. So for me, personally, I've been very impressed with whatever Chouameni did this season. Very satisfied, and I hope he continues to improve next season. And potentially, when we are having a review for next season, after hopefully winning the 16 Champions League, we can be saying that Chouameni goes into world class. But for now, I'll put him in good category as well.
Farouk.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's you guys both rightly summed it up. I think it's it's a good category, and I think rightly so. Like we've seen flashes, we've seen potential there, and Chouameni has come to become such an integral player into this team as well. So like yeah, hopefully next season he can push even further to reach that world class level.
Yeah, adding goals to his game, he's slowly getting there. I would like for him to really push the envelope in that regard as well. Shots from outside the box has gotten better. It can actually go up a bit higher as well. He has shown himself in the past that he can, do a job. So yeah, like I want more of those moments, like the goal that he scored, although might have been a slight deflection on it. But yeah, but the audacity to actually go for it in the first place, Mayoka away. I would like to see more of that from Chouameni. But apart from that, yeah, man, pretty good season. Not gonna lie. We kinda knew he, like, when the season began. I think Chouameni and Cruz was kind of lock-ons. I mean, Fede has been, here for a bit. I think Chouameni had to prove himself again this season, and he did. Who is next, Mo? Is it Fede?
Cruz.
Tony Cruz. Yeah. Farouk, take it away.
Can I just go ahead and put Tony Cruz in world class already?
You could. Yeah, maybe let Mo start Cruz, actually, because he wasn't here for the Champions League final as well. Go for him, Mo.
I mean, what a brilliant season this guy had. Like, we've gone from the times where we used to doubt Cruz to the times where we are wondering how Real Madrid is going to do without Cruz right now. For me personally, this guy, like Farouk, will definitely provide us with the stats, and we will continue to talk about it even if we do a video about him retiring or whatever. But like Toni Kroos this season, exceptional player, very important to Real Madrid's build up, very important to Real Madrid's ball progression up the field. Without him, we look completely like a different team, and this season he has like stood up and delivered in key moments. I mean, that assist for Vinicius against Bayern Munich, where he completely splits the entire defense, like totally encapsulates what kind of a player he is. And as much as I don't want to talk about what he's been doing at the Euros, because I think that is not relevant to our discussion, but then still we have to talk about like Toni Kroos, like what was it, 100 accurate passes out of 101 attempted, only missing one pass. Like everybody's shocked. When you get those levels of performances from a guy, I mean, how can you not put him in world class and put him anywhere else? For me, this season, Real Madrid, like a lot of other players we've talked about, wouldn't be the same team. But Toni Kroos, man, what a guy, what a career he has had, and the best thing is he knows when to leave Real Madrid, and he's leaving at the right time with his head held high.
Farouk.
Yeah, man, crazy. It's interesting. Let's just read out the stats. Toni Kroos actually has played 45 matches this season. He's basically like in the, I don't know, man, the higher percentile for everything, like short creating actions is in 95 percentile. So basically, a short creation action is like something that leads to like a pass or something that leads to a shot or a chance being created. For pass attempted, of course, he's in the 95 percentile. For the pass completion, 97 percentile. Progressive passes, 99 percentile, and so on and so forth. And I always see this, like whenever I talk about football with someone, I'll be like, yeah, what is Cruz doing? Like he's just passing sideways. I just stop my conversation there because there is no need to waste your time. Like there are certain people that, like just these kind of statements, define who they are. And like I feel like you arguing with them is like, doing them the courtesy of bringing yourself down to their level. So like, there is no point of having discussions with these people. Like, Tony Kroos, he's a master, and the man literally reestablished himself, because when the season started, he was on the bench. I think for the first 3-4 games, he was on the bench. He wasn't, part of the team. And then, like, eventually he was brought back into the team. And, of course, we saw the team became stable and the team started to play better and stuff like that. And eventually he took over the midfield there, and even when Tchouaméni got injured, with the whole pivot thingy, him and Freddy did a phenomenal job, It's basically been an honor for us as Real Madrid fans, to be able to watch this guy week in, week out, He's a model of consistency, knows how to get the job done, finds the right passes, It's interesting, and also how he's helped, our players develop, like players like Vinicius Junior, players like Fede Valverde, like he's been integral to their development, So we just can't say anything about Toni Kroos, man. Like the man, and he's going out on a significant high, man. Like I still just can't think of right now a better midfielder that does the job that Toni Kroos does. But man, the man is retiring at that age, so. Yeah, the retiring while he's at the top of the game, like Toni Kroos, has been nothing but godsend. Like it's been a pleasure watching Toni Kroos.
So many moments this season. Banger against Atleti, where the whole team looked dropped. The whole team looked dead. On its feet. Kroos comes up with an ingenious moment. Basically controlling the ball on the half volley and then firing it past time. This guy just has the knack, has the eye for the highlight moments, man, throughout his career. This season is no different. His through ball to Brahim. I forget. It was against Granada at home. Brahim actually then rubbing his boots as well. Iconic. That'll actually be something Brahim would tell his grandkids about. There's so many moments. The Vasquez header against Alaves. At the 92nd minute was set up by Kroos. The goal in the final for Carvajal set up by Kroos. This season was the perfect way to kind of encapsulate what Kroos was and what Kroos will be remembered by. I was always, keen on pointing out that, yes, without a defensive workhorse like Casemiro, like some of his frailties used to come to the forefront. But this season, he completely reworked his defensive positioning, how aggressive he was out of possession and whatnot. So, yeah, man, Kroos, this season, world class. If there was a tier above world class, he belongs there alone this season. That's how consistent Kroos has been. Phenomenal player. One in a million, once in a generation. Who is next? Fede?
Yeah.
Fede Valverde. I'll let Farouk go first.
Yeah, man, like Fede Valverde, crazy man, and he's the most used player this season. Like it's crazy how durable that man is, and it's just not about durability anymore. It's also about the fact that like this is Fred. Okay, like yeah, like he's the contribution offensively has dropped a lot compared to the previous season where I think he had like around almost 20 goals contribution, goal and assist combined. Like Fede Valverde played 54 matches this season, starting 48 of them, has 3 goals and 7 assists.
And 50 matches on the trot or something, right? Consecutively, he started 45, 50 matches or something. I remember.
I'm not sure what.
There was a stat, that he consecutively started 45 games or something. But yeah, it's crazy. Go on.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, man. Like what Fede Valverde, has done this season. He's just one of those players that, like, has become, such a metronome that, like you just have no other option but to keep playing him because there is no other player like him. He is such a unicorn, you understand? You can try to think of like, okay, how can I, replace this guy, do that, do this, and do that. But Fede Valverde is just someone who is there that you just don't know how to replace him because of what he offers to the team, being the engine of the team. The way he carries the ball, the way he goes. I don't know, man. Like, I will just also highlight the goal he scored against City, at the Bernabeu to equalize the 3-3. I just don't even think of I don't know, maybe Jose's goals in the semi-final, but I don't think of a goal that has more weight than his goals. Like the way the execution of that, of that volley and what is and what is not, it was just, nothing short of phenomenal. And that's just encapsulating the player that, Fede Valverde is for. Like, he's a player who, would die for this badge. He's a player who has been there, since he was very young, and he's definitely a future captain of this team. And hopefully, the inheritant, the inheritant of the number 8 jersey from the legendary Toni Kroos. So, yeah, man, like Fede Valverde is first and foremost a model of consistency, and secondly, an all important, piece of this puzzle. And because of that, man, I just can't think of anything other than world class for Fede Valverde.
Mo,
following up Farouk is a tough act. So following up Kroos is also a tough act. But unlike following up Farouk, I think following up Kroos, we have a brilliant guy. So in Fede Valverde, and I mean, like Farouk said, I totally agree with everything he said. Completely world class. He's very important to Real Madrid's team and how we function. Not only was he able to deliver defensively, but he was also able to deliver offensively in key moments. Like Farouk pointed out, the City game where he scores the volley that keeps us in the tie after whatever happened on the other end, where City were scoring streamers after streamers. So for us to get back at them with our own streamer, and then to go to Manchester with the tie, firmly in the balance, was like very important, and Real Madrid took it on from there. But Fede Valverde, this was just one example for me of Fede Valverde's importance this season. What continues to baffle me is the fact that a lot of people seem to think that next season, if we change tactics, Fede Valverde could potentially be dropped, because for me, that is never going to happen. You go on social media, you're always seeing these teams of Real Madrid, potential Real Madrid lineups, and you're seeing Fede Valverde is not there. For me, that is like absolute sacrilege.
Fucking casuals, man. Honest to God.
Yeah, that is absolute sacrilege. So for me, this season, Fede Valverde has been brilliant. He has been world class, and I hope he continues to be this way in the coming seasons. And like Farouk said, future captain, future leader. His leadership qualities have been seen on the pitch. They have been seen off the pitch as well, in his comments, in his interviews, in his everything. So I cannot thank Juni Calafat and everybody enough for bringing Fede Valverde to Real Madrid, and for Zidane and Solari and all of those guys to give him this opportunity that he rightfully deserved to show Real Madrid what he was made of.
Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed we might get an opportunity to speak with Fede in the near future. It'll be an absolute honor to really pick his brain about how he has basically managed to win the Champions League in two different positions, playing entirely two different roles. One being, a two-way workhorse, and this being a two-way workhorse, especially in a diamond, where a season in a season whereby much wasn't expected of the setup, and how he had to basically hang back and play a much more passive role. A role that really, if you don't watch us play enough, you would, kind of undermine what Fede brings to the table. I would like to point out his banger against Napoli as well. Wrongfully credited as the own goal. Fuck the rules, fuck the rule book. But if that wasn't Fede's goal, I don't know, whose goal it was. Yeah, man, so many moments. The City goal, the countless instances where he is the guy basically making a last-ditch tackle, last-ditch clearance inside the box, sweeping up for his midfielders, sweeping up the entire right flank, no matter who is playing. The constant, basically, in midfield, whether it be kind of towards the right, or in a pivot with Kroos, with Tchouaméni, Fede has been irreplaceable, and rightfully so. World class doesn't do his work rate enough justice. Although I would also add that Probably it was a tactical decision that he didn't take as many shots as he did the year before. I would like to see that change. I would like for him to really uh, kind of attempt more shots. But I think he even I think publicly came out and said that uh, it might be for the team's a detriment if he really kind of weigh into his urges. But yeah, man, that's the only thing that's missing from the phenomenal package that Fede already is at 25. Incredible player. Um, who else more?
Next is Jude.
Next, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put him in one class before we even talk about it. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I just need to excuse myself, so I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'm getting a call.
Right.
But you guys should continue with the Jude conversation.
Right. Farouk, why don't you take it?
Jude Bellingham. Jude has blown everything that's breathing out of the water, man. Like, I mean, there is nobody, like that will tell me that, like they had this, expectation for Jude. And, I will start by myself and being like, like I never expected, such an impact from Jude Bellingham, honestly, because Jude played 42 games this season, starting 41 of those with 23 goals and 13 assists, a team high 13 assists, by the way. No one gave more assists than Jude this season. It's quite interesting, the way he impacted the game. He's literally scored 12 goals maximum in his career till date, before he came to Real Madrid. In literally 11 games, he obliterated that record, Like, I mean, we have to put into context a lot of things, like Jude. Yeah, Jude is a seasoned player. He's played 3 years in Germany, played a year at Birmingham before he moved, to Real Madrid. So it's not like he was coming from like, a second division in the shitty league or some shit like that. Yeah, of course you can say he's a seasoned experienced player and stuff and that. But he's coming into different circumstances, man. He's never played as a number 9 before. He's been asked to play as a number 9. He's coming into a foreign country, all these things comes into play. And all of a sudden, like Jude emerges as the talisman of the team in the first week of the season, basically, like that's crazy. Like the way he's not just, on the pitch, not just, I mean, his footballing ability, the way also he's been a general on the pitch as well, the way he's able, to win over the fans, to bring them into the whole performances of the games, how he's been able to, impact the games, impact the team, impact the league, it's been phenomenal. Like I honestly, hats off to Jude, man, MVP of the team this season, honestly. Like I don't think there is any other thing to say, man. Like, it's unfortunate that, yeah, of course, the injuries and the suspension, inhibited his impact in the second half of the season. But yeah, man, like Jude, what a player, man. Like Jude is such a phenomenal player. Like, hopefully, we can get to enjoy him for many more years. And, I just believe that there's much more to come from Jude, man. I just feel like, we're just beginning to see, the beginning of it all, man. Like we're gonna see much more dominating performances from Jude Bellingham, especially when he goes back to his comfort zone of playing in the middle of the park and dominating here and there. So I think, yeah, Jude is definitely the MVP, and as Mo rightly did before he left, like there is no other place than world class for Jude Bellingham.
Copa Trophy, La Liga Player of the Year, Golden Boy Award, La Liga, Champions League. Yeah, man. Hopefully a Super Cup loading as well against Atlanta. Dream start. What more can you say? Actually, Jude Bellingham has exceeded expectations. It's a credit to his sacrifice. It is a credit to how he has kind of played through pain, adjusted to what the team needs, a specific moment. Whether it be down the middle, whether it be up top in the front too, whether it be part of a left-sided midfield where he has a lot more defensive duty. Yeah, man, Jude Bellingham has completely, like you said, blown everything out of the water. And if not for Vinicius's late surge in the Champions League, and in his general contribution to the team, Jude Bellingham would be front runner for the Champions League. Like he would be sitting there and wondering, like, what really happened, in the last 3 months for me to be kind of looking at second spot for now, right? It's a bit cruel considering this was his shining moment when he wasn't available, when so many of the big players went missing. Jude Bellingham was the guy, the single constant that kept on delivering. Let's be honest, Farouk. Yeah, this is my question. If not for Jude's stellar start to the season, we wouldn't be looking at a double.
Definitely. I mean, definitely there is nothing controversial about this. Like, this is a fact. This is set in stone. If not for Jude, definitely we wouldn't be looking for at a double, man. Like, let's not forget, like, we had a lot of tight games at the beginning of the season, and Jude kept popping up, at the right moment, at the right time, delivering goal left middle center. Like, definitely, I just
How many 90+ minute winners, man? The last gasp winner against Getafe, Union Berlin. The way he announced himself at San Mames. The first time we saw the Jude celebration and whatnot, it's just incredible, man, what this guy has gone on to do. The two Clásicos.
The Clásico as well, exactly, man. I think that first
home and away.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Home and away. The assist in the Champions League final, the assist against Leipzig, remember, like where Leipzig was looking to really kill us off in the second leg at home, he comes up big again. The solo goal against Napoli, taking on 3-4 man, going past them with absolutely, no fear. Jude Bellingham, man. Like the plaudits will keep on coming. Again, I have so many moments. Strikers finish against Cadiz away, where he latches onto a through ball. Finishes it first time, like he's fucking Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah, man, Jude Bellingham has been exceptional. I think the only doubt whether now where he ends up on the podium. Does he come up third? Does he come up second? Does he come up first? If Euros finally comes home, Farouk, do you think Jude Bellingham might nick it?
When Euros finally comes home, not if.
Okay. You're kind of rooting for England. I know.
This guy's rooting for England in Italian shirt, so.
I mean,
it's the worst way to root for them.
I mean, eventually we're all plastics, and like we're not Europeans. Like, what should I do? I mean, we just have to find someone to support, Well, the point is, like, if he wins, with England, depending on what happens with Vinicius and Brazil as well, that's also going to create, a bit of stuff. But I do think, like, if he does well with England and like if he's able to win with England, I think that automatically
already scored a goal. Very important winner against Serbia.
Yeah, I think it's just not that. The point is that okay. Anyways, that's not the discussion. Anyways, like the point is like creating a bit of stuff. But I do think if he goes well with England and the bottom line is he wins the Ballon d'Or, I don't think so much.
Already scored a goal.
Eventually, so it's eventually like how far he can take this team or how far they can take this team together with the other players. But I still do think if he can secure, I think, a final berth, even if they lose, I think he can still get he will still be a prominent member, and I do think if he wins, he seals that Ballon d'Or. If he wins, he seals it, because I think the point is, in all honesty, how many of the voters actually do watch Copa America? Copa America is by 4 o'clock in the morning on our time, and I can guarantee you 70% of the Ballon d'Or voters are of certain demographics. You understand? They don't really know what's going on with the CONMEBOL or CONCACAF team, and already and already it's not just players that actually share that.
Even Sid Lowe, he basically like in the fan camp, he outright said, the Copa America doesn't weigh. The Euros weigh a lot more than Copa America.
The Euros weigh a lot more. That's just the thing. Like the point is, with all due respect, like how many of these guys do actually watch these games? The people who are going to vote for the Ballon d'Or.
For me, I don't understand like how you guys can put Jude Bellingham at first, because we know Jude Bellingham is coming second. First is going to be Messi. So don't disrespect it.
That's a different conversation. Ashik, very eloquently sent me a compilation of the very game I watched. It was nice watching Messi bluff 3 golden chances against Minos Canada. But Mo, Jude Bellingham, your 2 cents.
I mean, I think you guys have covered pretty much everything that needs to be covered, so I don't really want to increase the time. But overall, I'll just say that Jude Bellingham completely exceeded expectations that I had from him when he came into the season. I didn't know that he had this this ability to play as
Sune did again.
Sorry.
No, Sune did, like usual.
Yeah. You definitely said that you think that you thought that he was going to be a great goal scorer, but like we definitely did not expect him to be as good as he was in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
It didn't, as expected, not continue into the second half, but still, like you guys were talking about, like without him, we probably don't win as many titles as we did, and he was completely integral in the most important moments of the season. Be it the Clásicos, be it the Champions League or whatever, he always stood up and delivered. My only worry with Jude Bellingham that I think worried me a little bit this season was the fact that his form kind of tailed down towards the end of the season, and I think at Real Madrid that is kind of worrisome because Real Madrid are always going to play a lot of games, and Real Madrid are always going to be involved in key competitions in the later half of the season, especially at the tail end of the season, and that is when the important players need to step up and make themselves counted. Vinicius did that this season. For me, Vinicius is probably the Ballon d'Or winner, irrespective of whatever happens at the Euros. I mean, that is my opinion. Not everybody possibly shares that opinion, but yeah, Bellingham, brilliant season. The only thing he has to work on is the fact that how he ends seasons going forward and how he.
It's his first season. Had a lot on his plate this year.
Exactly. This was his first season with Real Madrid, so probably. Dortmund don't really play that many games. They play like 34 league games every year. So this was his first time, I think, playing in a league with 38 games, playing in all those 38 games, and maybe he was injured a little bit in between, but definitely, but still managing his workload and everything. And add to that the fact that he had that shoulder injury that he was carrying since November. So God knows how he would be if those factors weren't there. But yeah, definitely that is one aspect of it that I want to see him improve next season. Overall, though, brilliant player. Excited to see what happens, especially with Cruz leaving. We're gonna need a midfielder who can help progress balls, and I know that Tchouaméni and Fede Valverde potentially aren't that great in that aspect, but maybe Jude Bellingham kind of has to step in that role because Javier was talking about how he could do that. So let's see what happens this upcoming season. How
Ancelotti he has prior experience playing deeper, right? So it might come into...
not about playing deeper, about like being more active on the ball, like Cruz is for Real Madrid,
I think it'll be...
ball progression is going to be an important aspect for Real Madrid because...
Mental to think that he can even do a quarter of what Cruz does. I don't think so.
For us, like going into the next season, we're going to have Mbappe, right? So that guy is going to be our main goal scorer. We have Vinicius, we have Rodrigo, we have God knows what, and even Jude Bellingham making those late runs. But definitely going to need getting some help getting the ball out of the back. And that is one aspect where I want to see how Jude does next season.
Yeah. We also shouldn't shy away from the fact that he is someone who is basically about all action. His game is basically end to end. So I think even basically ball distribution, like he wouldn't be able to match what Kroos does or even come close. But
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna interested in seeing like how he does the ball progression bit.
What direction we go, basically, irrespective of what Jude does, this is kind of we are kind of at a crossroads.
I think Jude is going to be very important to what Real Madrid does. So that is why I'm like interested to see what Jude does.
Yeah, replacing Kroos and basically like you said, ball progression from deep. Is an interesting conundrum. Hopefully, we can ask the professionals about it, inshallah, soon. Rodrigo next, right?
Yeah.
I'll leave it to Farouk to kick it off, and then we'll somber it down with me. But go for it, Farouk. Rodrigo.
Okay, now this is going to be very controversial. But anyways, I will start by saying first, I'll rank him as average, and I started the season, we made our pre-season predictions, and I felt like Rodrigo is going to be, our go-to guy this year. Is going to be the guy who's going to have that breakthrough, like similar we had with Vinicius in 2022. He had like 44 goals, contributions. I thought like, we're going to have something similar with Rodrigo this year. He's going to have that breakthrough and stuff like that. And Rodrigo is actually the second most used player in the team. Playing 51 games and starting 43 matches, and has 25 goal assist contribution. More importantly, he's got 17 goals from expected goal of 17.4. So basically, you'd say that he's on par with what he's expected to do. However, I would also like to highlight a comparison with the fact that while Rodrigo started 43 games, Jose started 18 games. Osilo has an expected goal of 17. He scored 18 goals. Okay? And the point now becomes this. If I have a player who is my Galactico, I'm not expecting my Galactico to have chances in games and shoot them across to the goalkeeper. I just kind of feel let down by Rodrigo. Of course, like people talk about, oh, he scored against Man City at the Etihad. Bro, he got a good rebound. He literally had the chance, hit it to the keeper, and then it came back, and he got lucky to be there. He got a lucky bounce, as they call it, Yeah, of course, like people will be like, yeah, but a striker also needs to know about position and put himself in the right place so the ball bounce back to him. That's people's choice and that's people's, opinion on what is and what is not. But just my opinion of Rodrigo is that he had a call to answer, and he definitely didn't answer the call. And next season is going to be very, very interesting to see what Rodrigo does. I put him as average.
Mo?
There are two things in Farouk's statement that I agree with. The first one is that I would put him in average. The second one is that he had a call to answer, but he did not, unlike me. So, but the thing is, like, what I disagree with is the fact that, the thing is, like, Farouk has pointed out quite a bit of negatives from Rodrigo's season. For me, I think there was this particular stretch of season where Rodrigo was the only good player we had. And Rodrigo in that time, like, totally carried our team. There was the stretch in November, December where Jude was out, Vinicius was out, and Rodrigo was the only guy who was playing, and he completely carried this team and scored a lot of important goals for us. Having said that, Rodrigo could have done a lot more. Like, when Vinicius and Jude were back, I don't think I saw the same level of performances from him. Even when he was playing on the left, when Ancelotti decided to adapt and play him on the left, I didn't see the same level of performances that I kind of expected from him. I think partially the goal that we conceded to Leroy Sané against Bayern at the Allianz Arena, I think some of the fault also lies on him because of the way he was defending. So for me, there were moments where Rodrigo stepped up, but then there were also moments where I felt like Rodrigo could have done a lot more. His finishing being poor is like something that a lot of us have already discussed about. He's a good player, he's a good talent, but he could, at Real Madrid, you need to do a lot more than he did already. I've said a lot of times that Rodrigo is playing a very key role in ball progression and helping others succeed. That is true. But having said that, Rodrigo needs to do a lot more. If this is the same level of performance he keeps on doing even next season, I think there's a good chance that he will lose his starting spot. And, with the rumors of City and whatnot, I don't know what happens with Rodrigo if he doesn't really level up his performances like Vinicius did and, like Jude has done like this season.
To both of you guys, before I can give my verdict, right? Was this season a step down from the previous season for Rodrigo? Definitely, yeah.
For me, it was. Apart from that particular stretch.
No.
From last season, was it a step down for Rodrigo this season?
Yeah. For me, I said it. Like apart from that particular stretch where
I didn't hear Farouk's.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So, okay, right. Since you guys, kind of, like I kept quiet. Yeah, I wanted to, interject and kind of, kind of cut in, but yeah, Mo and Farouk basically, made very, fair claims that I also kind of have echoed myself throughout the season, that we expect a lot more from Rodrigo and what Rodrigo should be bringing to the table. We all know that there is a great player in there. There was a point in both Vinicius and Rodrigo's career where, a large section of the fan base, including me, thought that, Vinicius might be the most unpredictable of the two, right? Or the more unpredictable of the two, who can basically, do something out of nothing, basically in a given, scenario. But Rodrigo was definitely, the better finisher, the guy who could, bang in goals consistently. And it wasn't far ago. It wasn't a long time ago. And I think that is the biggest detriment that Rodrigo has had this season, in my opinion, because he now has a tag whereby people don't rely on him to finish high quality chances, which was surprising for me. I'm his biggest advocate. He is above Jude, above everyone for me. Rodrigo is my guy. But then again, what Mo said is very right. His lack of his half-assed tracking back is what kind of cost the Sané goal. But then again, we tend to forget the work that Rodrigo puts in. He puts in 2 times the work that Vinicius does. Nobody can argue with that. He is really integral in that part of our team setup, whereby he is a tireless worker going back as well. Then again, I'm going to list you some of his high points. Opening goal against Bilbao, sick finish. Um, the chip against Braga, where the keeper doesn't know what hit him, was so smooth. My expectations were through the roof, when I saw that goal. Again, the brace against Cadiz, where completely, bamboozles the keeper, curling the ball, top right corner. Um, the goal against Napoli at home as well. Like, he just had some moments where you thought that, yeah, like what Farouk said, he finally might be picking up the call and becoming the third most important player on the team, especially on the attacking department. Um, the bang against Bilbao, where he scored a brace. Yeah, the goal against City away is talked about a lot more, but people tend to forget the goal he scored in the first leg as well. Very integral in a part of the game where we kind of were looking like, where would we go, right? Where, in a period where we are kind of a bit uncertain of what we are kind of doing to uh, exchange the knockout punch, with City. And Rodrigo came in clutch then again. So, yeah, people have rightfully, laid out what they were kind of disappointed with Rodrigo. I agree with a lot of it. I backed him for a long, long time. But then it came to a point where, like you guys said, he didn't really step up when we needed him sometimes, but he did step up in so many crucial moments, which would go under the radar given, the kind of average season he had. But for me, taking into account the highs he had, two big ones against City, some very crucial goals in the league, and his overall work rate and mentality, he went absolutely missing in the final. I'll give you that as well. Me and Farouk, we talked about it extensively in the post-match as well. I was livid watching it. But yeah, taking all into account, I would still rate him good. For me, it wasn't definitely world class. I would say it's borderline average. But for me, some of his involvements throughout the season, like what Mo said, the November purple patch, November purple patch he had, where he carried the team, especially offensively, pushes him just into good. But yeah, this wasn't the season I expected from Rodrigo. Far from it. Far from it. Vinicius Junior, Mo, take it away.
Before we go to Vinny, are we putting Rodrigo in average or good?
You guys both voted average, right? So it should be average.
Okay. Yeah. For Vinicius, man, this guy is completely world class despite the number of games he missed this season, due to injury and whatnot. But whenever he came back, he always came back in form, and whenever Real Madrid needed him, he stepped up and delivered. For me, the moment that encapsulates Vinicius' season is the game against Valencia at the Mestalla. We know what the backdrop of it was, but despite how poorly we started that game, how we were 2 goals down, and the fact that we could have potentially won the game was down to Vinicius. So for me, that game encapsulates Vinicius' season with Real Madrid. Moments where Real Madrid were down, Vinicius stepped up and delivered. So he absolutely carried this team. In the absence of Karim Benzema, I felt like Vinicius truly grew out of it and truly grew into Real Madrid's natural leader this season. He truly showed why he deserved the number 7. So for me, Vinicius is absolutely world class, and if we ignore the international tournaments, for me, he's the Ballon d'Or winner.
Farouk.
Yeah, man, definitely. I just couldn't agree more with what Mo said. That's the thing. Vini literally showed up when it matters the most, and this is what we've seen with other Real Madrid legends as well. Let's not forget, towards the end of Cristiano's career at Real Madrid, for the first time he literally was losing, and the moment turns when we come back to the knockout stage, so the Champions again, he's there, he delivers at this key moment, and that's the thing, for with Vinicius Junior, as the game against Valencia was a very, very good shot. The point is, we know what happened there last year. We know how emotionally, tense that game would be and how it was, of course, definitely. We found ourselves 2-0 down, I think, in the first 15, 20 minutes. I can't remember whatever the stuff was, anyways. Well, Vinicius literally stepped up, and he got the equalizer before the half, and after the half, he equalized the game, and we almost won the game. I think we had a goal ruled out for offside, I think, at the end of the game, right? If I remember correctly.
It wasn't for offside. It was because the referee blew the whistle. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
Gil Manzano?
Gil Manzano, yeah.
Yeah. They shot the bed, spectacularly in that game. That just highlights it. But the thing I always loved about Vinicius, which has been the same, is that Vinicius plays so effortlessly. He does the game like okay, not to the extent of the original Samba guys, like with the Dinos and all that, but he makes you excited when he has the ball. He's always trying to create something. And now he has the end product to that. Now he has the swagger to that. Yeah. Now he has the confidence. Now he has that. Yeah, I'm gonna beat you, and there's nothing you can do about it. All that to him. So it's phenomenal. Watching that growth of Vinicius Junior, and I do hope he can cap the year. With the Golden Ball at the end of the year. But yeah, man, Vinicius Junior is arguably, but in my opinion, Vinicius Junior on his day right now, he's the best player in the world.
Best player on the ball, bar none. Only guy who could touch him is Mbappe or Jude. But what Vinicius Junior has done in the Champions League this season, and the way he has kind of performed throughout the season, has completely flipped people's perception of how good Vinicius can be. Because we knew how good he was, especially after the 14th. We knew what he can do, but the general opinion was still the fact that, was he a flash in the pan? Can he do it consistently? And he replied with due diligence. He got 20 odd goals and assists the season before as well, with Benzema being here, and without even Benzema being in the equation in a new system, he still kept on thriving. Vinicius Junior completed more take-ons than any other player in the Champions League. There you go. Now, another stat for you. Vinny didn't have a goal or assist only once in the knockout stage of the Champions League throughout his entire career. Can you guys guess what game that was, or which tie that was, basically? That would make it easier for you.
The one that he did not have.
Throughout his Champions League. Yeah. Throughout his Champions League career, Vinny didn't have a goal or assist only against one side in a particular tie in the Champions League.
I'm forgetting this one, but I remember the stat. It's like both ties, right? Both legs are one tie.
Yeah, both legs, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of I remember it, but I'm kind of forgetting. Was it Atalanta or something?
No. Farouk?
Man City?
No, man, it's not City.
No.
It's not City. It is a Chelsea one, yeah? Yeah, see.
2021.
Yeah.
2021.
This the time Zidane played him out wide.
Yeah, wing back settings.
Back, yeah.
But
well, last year he scored. Last year we got knocked out 4-0, and then we drew the first leg. Did he score in that time?
No, it's like they're counting both ties into one. So it's like
he scored in the tie. He scored in the tie, the first leg.
Yeah, so
Vinny.
Both legs are counted as one tie. So it's kind of like City home and away is like one tie. So
okay, cool.
Across all the opponents that he's faced in knockouts, he's only failed to score against Chelsea in like 2021.
Chelsea, yeah.
Okay.
That's an insane stat. Again, there you go. 24 games in the knockouts, 11 goals, 12 assists, and 2 of them in Champions League finals. How good can this boy get, man? It's just, the sky is the limit. I was one of those few people who thought that Vinicius would really go on to be, someone like a Nunes, who is absolutely, shitting the bed right now in the Premier League, whereby, he wouldn't be able to polish his end product, and he has completely shut up any doubts that anyone had, including his own fans. A few of the key moments, for Vinny in the season. Let me just quickly run it through. Banger against Girona at home. Vinny and Rodrigo running right against Valencia. The 5-1 win. What else? Due to Vinny, the goal against Leipzig at home. We've discussed about it, the winning brace against Valencia. Like Mo said, fitting. Um,
But yeah, man, I think we
the
kind of
goal
get the
against
idea. Yeah,
Alaves.
we get the
Yeah,
idea. But yeah, we need to keep moving on because this video's already been like so long. It's like 1 hour, almost 2 hours. So
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
But yeah, Winnie has to be up there. Has to be up there. In the Ballon d'Or rankings, the UEFA Player of the Year. He just has again stamped himself on his dominance in terms of attackers in Europe. But um, who is next? Basically,
Kamavinga.
Kamavinga.
Yeah,
So for that, I think I'll just ask one of you guys, and we can run it through quickly and wrap this up. Um, Kamavinga, Farouk can take him. He has been his favorite for years. Farouk, take it away.
yeah, man. Like Eduardo Camavinga, a player that's maybe too good and too versatile for his own good. He's always been used wherever there's I'm even surprised he hasn't played centre back so far. Like that's the thing. Camavinga has been really really good. To the extent that we're not just thinking of him as a midfielder, we're also thinking of him as a left back as well. That's the amount of quality he has, and it says a lot that like when Chouameni was not available for the final, like the first and only thoughts that everyone had was Camavinga starts there, and Kamavinga has been good, and that's the thing you want to see with this kind of players is that how they improve themselves, and Kamavinga is the beacon of that improvement. You literally can see season by season, the way he improves his game, the way he takes more time, to understand the roles that he has to play, and more of less rash tackles, and Kamavinga also upon a time was a walking yellow card machine. Right now, like Kamavinga is someone that even if he gets a yellow card, you still don't worry because you know that he's getting more understanding of the game, of knowing how he needs to control his mentality and his temperament and all that. And I think Kamavinga has been okay, yeah, not world class, but he's been really good this season. I would say Kamavinga has been good, and also he's been an integral third man for our team. And I just hope that next season we can even see more of him, and with the departure of Toni Kroos, hopefully maybe that opens up a spot for him and all lack thereof. We just have to see. But yeah, Kamavinga has been good this season.
Good, yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, the only thing that I would add to the Kamavinga thing is basically like you would be a bit disappointed in the fact that he didn't get to feature a lot more prominently this season. But I hope he understands, his energy from the bench is a game changer for us. Like even if he doesn't get many starting minutes next season, it's just definitely bound to change with Bruce Levin. But in the scenario where he's kind of again on the fringes, what he brings off the bench is undeniably a game changing asset. And like hopefully the starting berth in the final would kind of give him a lot of joy, especially being in right in the middle, winning the 15th. But yeah, next one more. Is it Luka? Brahim. You can go with Brahim.
For me personally, Brahim kind of exceeded the expectations that I had going into the season. For me, the biggest question about Brahim was the fact that not about his quality, but more about his consistency. And I think this season, whatever minutes he got, he consistently delivered for Real Madrid. He's delivered more than what we expected he could deliver. We were worried about the goals that we would be missing with Asensio, especially in key moments. And I think Brahim came in, completely silenced those doubts, and then showed a level to his game that I think we didn't see from Asensio. He had commitment, he had desire, and most importantly, he had the consistency to do it all the time. So for me, Brahim definitely goes into the good category. I don't know what the future holds from him. Will he be at Real Madrid next season? Hopefully. Will he be at Real Madrid the season after? I don't know. But whatever he did this season was like very important to us, and I think he has been a very important contributor to Real Madrid winning the titles that we did. And I hope this form continues next season.
Brahim's goal against Leipzig first leg.
Brilliant.
It's gonna be one of the highlights of the season, definitely.
And I think there was another goal in La Liga as well where he dribbled from the halfway line
against Villarreal.
Villarreal.
He basically
so
took on like 4 or 5 players.
A lot of important goals, but overall, ignoring those highlights, I mean, he showed consistency that I personally had doubts about. So for me, I'm pretty satisfied with the way his season went.
So is he gonna be on good?
Yeah, good for me.
Farouk, you agree?
Yeah, sure.
Mm. Mo, one thing that we forget is the ad read. I hope you have it with you. I
Yeah,
had sent it to
yeah,
you
yeah. I do
earlier.
have it. Do you want me to play it
But
now?
yeah, I guess it's the perfect time. Big up Doris, big up Manscaped.
Hola Magelistas, I'm back once again to remind you that we partnered up with Manscaped and summer is officially upon us, and who better to help you upgrade your grooming habits than our friends at Manscaped. So use our code LPR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at checkout. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And as for the summer, the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra has everything you need. It's a box that features two trimmers. One is a lawn mower, to help you groom downstairs. It's super safe. It features two separate blades that you can use. One is to choose the length, and the other one is to keep it completely smooth. It also features an LED spotlight and is completely waterproof, so you can do everything in the shower completely safe. It also has an ear and nose trimmer, ball deodorant, ball aftershave, a pair of boxers, two baggies, and newspaper to use when you shave. And those newspaper are actually real newspaper that have crosswords and stuff, which is pretty fun. But check out the website for other things. They also have body washes, scrubbers, lotions, all kinds of creams, everything that a man would need, to be perfectly groomed and looking sharp. So yeah, use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.
Big up Doris, big up Manscaped. The code is in the pinned comment. Pioneers of below the waist grooming. They have a huge catalog of yeah, man, you name it, be it waxes, shampoos, loungewear, trimmers, um, nose sweeters. They just have everything you could wish for, especially in the grooming department. Yeah, man, Manscaped pick up themselves every single time. Pick up Doris as well. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Go show them some love, show us some love. Um, and they have been a brilliant partners, throughout almost six months of the season. It has been an absolute pleasure, um, absolute honor as well. But yeah, go check out Manscaped LBA20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Right. Is it Hoselu next?
Yeah,
Mo?
Hoselu is next.
Hoselu. Right. I'll take Hoselu. Well, couple of goals against Bayern is going to be talked about for the good part of the next few decades. What he did against Bayern is going down in folklore. When he came in, the expectations were basically rock bottom. We just thought that we would be getting in a striker who would be scoring in 10 odd goals. 10 goals would be a brilliant return for a backup striker, is what my thinking was. I'm pretty sure that's what every one of us thought as well. He went on to get 18 goals, across all competitions this season. Second highest top scorer or something in the Champions League. Mad stuff from Oselu. He has had a fair share of his big moments in the league as well. Um, Setting the tempo against Girona, the 3-0 away win. There's so many goals. His combination with Vasquez every time, it almost felt like every time Vasquez kind of, put in a half decent cross, this guy just manages to find a way to score. There were some iffy moments, definitely, but yeah, his overall contribution to this historic double is immense. You can't overlook what he has done, and it's well deserved that the club is actually opting to kind of outright buy him and keep him as a plan B for next season. 100% deserved, in my opinion. Good. Mo and Farouk, do you agree with that?
Me personally, I agree with everything you said. So. about
Farouk,
Joselu.
good is good enough.
Yeah, same here, man. He's surpassed expectations. So yeah, I have no comments about that.
I think
Right.
the only happiness that extra happiness that Farouk derives from Joselu is the fact that he didn't score a hat trick, so he didn't have to give out shirts.
Oh yeah, the Ashik bet. Yeah, it has been a running joke. Hopefully, it's fucking put to bed. After the season. But next season, you guys should come up with something a bit more achievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of gotten on my nerves because it has been ongoing for 12 months and nothing has come out of it. I feel like I'm a spectator that is watching a silent film. It has no masala to it. But yeah, man. Mo, what's up?
The next one is
Luka.
the next one is the big one. I think I might have some opinions like that differ from you guys. It's Luka Modric.
Go for it. Kick us off.
Nah. Okay. So this is going to be slightly controversial. For me, I have a certain level of expectation from Luka Modric, and I did not think that we saw that level of performances from him this season. So he's definitely not world class for me. He's somewhere between good and average for me, and I think I'm slightly tending more towards average, given the fact that he had more of a bench role. He was coming off from the bench and contributing. He had some important games where he proved himself to be, the game changer. I distinctly remember one game where he scored the game-winning goal. I don't remember the opponent though.
Sevilla.
Yeah, Sevilla. So yeah,
Ramos.
Yeah,
basically looking.
There were moments where Luka Modric was definitely turning back the clock and showing how good he was. And I mean, he definitely is still a good player. He still definitely has the technique, and I still understand why Real Madrid wanted to renew him, especially because we're losing Toni Kroos. But given the balance of the performance throughout the season, for me, I don't know if I agree with putting him in. He's definitely not world class for me, but I am confused between putting him between good or average, tending towards average, like I said. So it's up to you guys to decide.
For me personally, adding to that winner against Sevilla, so many occasions where his crucial set piece deliveries has, basically nicked us winners. His goal against Villarreal, at home as well, a lucky deflection, although, but still clutch. Him assisting Rudiger against Mallorca, Sevilla banger we talked about. Yeah, man, like so many instances where even when we were playing against City, when he comes on, Steve, I distinctly remember Steve mentioning it in his post-match fan cam that Luka Modric just gave that energy, that lift we needed when the game kind of looked, slipping out of our hands. If you remember that Fede goal comes from basically, I think, Luka. Not sure if he actually won the ball back, but it's him basically starting the attack right in the middle of the park. So yeah, like isolated moments, yes, he has looked good, but like what Mo said, the expectations from Luka is unfortunately for him, this year is it has to be average for me. My love for Luka, like I've always mentioned, like if someone points a gun to my head and asks me Toni Kroos or Luka Modric, I'm picking Luka any day, every day of my life. He's that special to me, but yeah, unfortunately, average. I think is the verdict for Luka. Farouk, anything to add?
Yeah, man, I completely agree with what you guys said. Like the stretch, how you balance out all the performances there, week in, week out. I think just sounds, especially considering like this is a Ballon d'Or we're talking about. So I think that that level is just not what it's expected to be or what it used to be. So I think average is just a fair. But I just kind of feel again now thinking about it, similar to what Mo was saying earlier, like putting the contributions of Rodrigo and the contributions of Luka Modric. I think like Rodrigo was ahead of Luka Modric, but then I don't know if it's fair to put them in the same tier. But yeah, fair is the only thing. Average is the only thing we have. So yeah, they will go in there.
So far, how many players do we have in average?
Two.
Mo?
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodrigo and Luka.
Yeah.
My boys, man. Honest to God, it's
the thing
painful.
is, like average seems like I don't know. Maybe
for this season, average seems like it's bad.
Yeah.
It's the kind of season we have.
I want to
long may continue.
I want to rename it into below expectations instead of average.
You could. You could.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
You could put average / below expectations. I mean, that's kind of easier for people to comprehend, I think.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else? After Luca, I think it should be
Look,
pretty.
it's Vasquez, yeah.
Oh, Vasquez. No, no chance. I'm letting this one go without a proper tribute. But who wants to kind of take the first steps? Farouk, Vasquez.
Okay.
Quickly. Don't worry about the time. It's a season review. Farouk, go for it.
Yeah, like, Lucas Vasquez again, show, the reason why he still plays for this team, his importance to the team. This is a winger who was, being converted into, a fullback, and, he's played 38 matches across the season, with 18 starts, and he's had, 7 assists and 3 goals, 10 goals contribution. And I think, Lucas Vasquez is just one of those players that, we know what he is, like, you don't, expect the performances you have from Dani Carvajal. There's a huge gulf in there, but one thing we can never doubt, is his application, the way he applies himself, the way he carries himself, the amount of effort he puts into this team, it's beyond what words can, quantify. And that's just the thing, man. Like players like Lucas Vasquez, honestly, like they also just, further, cement the vision that, Florentino Perez had of with Sudan and the Power Ones, like that's just it. Like, not everyone has to be, at the top tier. Like you just have to, carry yourself in a certain way, apply yourself in a certain way, perform in a certain way, and that's more than good enough. And I think Lucas Vasquez definitely, embodies that. Honestly, like I think it's been a good season from Lucas Vasquez this year, and I don't remember like having a stinker. I don't know, but I remember like of course
Bayern was a huge problem, especially away. First leg.
Yeah, I think he struggled.
Pavel was missing.
I think he struggled a little bit when Musiala moved onto his side.
Yeah,
but then it's Jamal Musiala right now. He's one of the best.
In tight spaces. I'm telling you.
But then Farouk, we are Madrid, so this is the level of competition that players have to perform.
Yeah, of course. I know it's the same. It's the same way, like like when Mbappe tormented Dani Carvajal. I'm like, bro, like I cannot say anything because like Mbappe was.
Call me crazy. Take that Bayern game out of the equation. I'm putting him world class. With respect to the minutes he played, because man, this guy had so many really, really great moments this season. He just, deserves so much. So much praise, so much flowers.
I am very conflicted.
Yeah,
you're very conflicted.
You do.
For me, I'm very conflicted as to which category I want to put him in, because, like Sunet said, that there's an argument to put him in world class. There's an argument to put him in good. There's an argument to put him in average. For me, the argument to put him in average would be the fact that the level of opposition he played wasn't the highest. And how many minutes did he have? He's probably on the bottom half of the minutes for Madrid players because of how good Carvajal was. And in the most important of games where he got to play, especially against Bayern, his performance wasn't up to that level. So for me, when you look at that, you kind of think about average. But then, if you, like Sunat said, you remove that one particular game and you see his performances, and you realize that in key moments he was brilliant going forward from the right back position. So you want to put him in good. But then there's also an argument, about the number of assists he put in, the number of goal contributions he had, that when you wonder and think...
Goal against Barcelona.
Yeah, goal against Barcelona and all those moments, and you think maybe this guy, like, he has exceeded all expectations. He exceeded all expectations and gone above and beyond what you want. So could you be putting him into world class with the caveat that, although he may not be at the same level as other guys, but then his performances, his heart, his determination kind of put him into that category. But for me, like I said, I don't want to put him in world class, although I see the argument. It's between a good and average for me, and if you guys want to put him in good, let's put him in good.
It should be good. The winner against Alaves away 90+9. Like Carvajal had the blessing of being part of Cruz's last season, being on the end of it. Vasquez had the same thing as well. If you guys remember the goal Jude Bellingham scored against Getafe, the 90+3 or 4 winner. Early parts of the season, which was, it was almost looking like if we're going to be dropping points at home to Getafe. This man is the guy who is taking a shot from, a place where he doesn't have the technique to do it, but he's just swinging it. The goalkeeper spills it, Jude taps it in. I mean, so many moments, so many little moments like that. Vasquez has really come up big, but good is kind of undermining him a bit, but world class would be pushing it. I completely agree. Who is next?
I think the next guy is Arda Güler. Arda Güler.
Mo, do you want to?
If you ask me, I'm gonna put him in a category above world class. But personally, I was like very more seriously. I was very impressed with how he ended the season, where he was scoring almost a goal every game, and he has shown flashes of his brilliance. But then I totally understand why people wouldn't want to put him in world class or good, because he didn't really have the amount of minutes that we want to see. So we haven't seen his performances over let's say over a broader period of time. So for me right now, I'm gonna hold my opinion on him. But yeah, Arda Güler, I've said it multiple times. Like, this guy is gonna be brilliant. When he signed him, I said this is the guy clubs are gonna regret not signing. Clubs are gonna regret letting him go to Real Madrid. And right now he's here. This even for in the Euros, we have seen him how good he is for Turkey. I mean, the first game, the goal completely changed the game. The second game after he came on, his performances was pretty good. So for me, Arda Güler definitely deserves to be in the good or world class category. But right now, because we don't have the body of work, I would rather put him in no opinion or verdict to be withheld.
Okay, I'll say something. Yeah. Yes, his goals didn't really matter much, but like maybe you could probably argue the goal away at the Anoeta was very crucial. Him making the winner. Wasn't that right before the Bayern tie or something? So yeah, that could have really.
That's right. My argument isn't that his performance didn't matter. It's more about the fact that we only got to see him for 1 month.
Yeah, right? for just that, I reckon he should be put in at least good. But that's just my opinion. But I completely agree.
I mean,
where you're coming from.
If you guys are okay with it, for me, I don't have an issue with putting him in good either.
Farooq, what do you think?
The thing is,
Nah, I don't think putting him in good. I just think what Mo said is the best, because the point is, why do you guys say that the performance do matter? I don't think the performances do not matter. The point I say so is that remove Arda Güler, Real Madrid still win the league. Real Madrid do still win the Champions League. So the point is that these were games that literally had zero pressure on them. And if we're going to start judging players on games that have zero pressure, then we might start judging them on preseason friendlies as well. You understand? Of course, I understand that Arda is a talent that has shown, has proven himself in that last 7-8 games. And we've seen what he's done at the Euros as well. But I just don't see a way where I put Rodrigo in average and then put Arda Güler in goal. That definitely doesn't happen. At least for me.
Right. Fair enough.
So which category does he go into, and what do we call it?
Honestly,
NA. Yeah, NA. I mean, no opinion. What was the category?
No opinion.
Below.
It kind of sounds
yeah, no opinion.
No, I mean, it's not it's the sense that we just cannot, as you said, right? That's the thing. You made
we can't.
I understand. Yeah.
Oh, how can we better word it?
Because not enough minutes. Maybe not enough minutes.
No attendance.
No attendance.
I'm thinking
no
not
attendance.
Not enough minutes.
Not enough minutes. Right. Okay. Right. Who is up next, Mo?
Next is David Alaba.
Alaba.
Yeah.
I'll take Alaba. Man, he got injured against Sevilla, I think around November, December or something. Even before that, he didn't really have the greatest of starts to a campaign. Whether it be fatigue, whether it be age catching up to him, he was very erratic, especially like we have always talked about it. In the air and kind of yes, his ball progression, out from the back is exceptional. We can't take that away from him, but his overall package was his overall impact in games, was definitely waning a bit. We started to see Alaba kind of fade, and yeah, the timing that he picked up the injury, was kind of a blessing in disguise for the team, whereby Rudiger kind of stepped up and became the central figure that we needed him to be. But yeah, Alaba, average, man. Or below average would be pushing it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think he goes into average. The only guy I would probably go below average is Ceballos. But yeah, Alaba is average for me personally. I agree with everything you said.
Let's keep it moving then. Below average.
Average.
Farooq agrees as well, right?
Average, yeah?
Average.
Definitely.
Below expectations.
Below expectations. Right.
Next is Fran.
Who's next? Who wants to take it?
I'll take it.
Yeah, I think
More.
I mean, if Farouk has something to say, it's okay. You can go.
No, I don't
You
have
both can
anything
take
to
it.
say. I don't have anything to say. I was just gonna say, for me, it's bank average. There's nothing to talk about it. That's just it. Like,
Yeah, for me
personally, call average.
For me personally, first half of the season, I kind of like. See, the thing is, like, Fran Garcia, from certain sections of the media, he came with a certain set of expectations where they're thinking that he's gonna challenge Mendy for the starting spot and whatnot because of how good he was for Rayo. But I knew what his level was, and for me, I think at the beginning of the season he was rather poor. Apart from some moments, especially like the game against Sociedad where he delivered his assist and everything, I think the moment kind of felt a bit too high for him. But like towards the end of the season, he kind of started getting more into his rhythm and his performances improved. So for me, this guy is like below average. Sorry, not below average, below expectations. Kind of like didn't live up to the expectations that people had from him. But then I don't want to be too harsh because towards the end of the season, his performance was like decent. I kind of want to put him in average below expectations, but I don't know if you guys agree with putting him in the same category as Rodrigo, Luka Modric, and Alaba, because maybe we want to create a new category and put him in that one with Ceballos, maybe. What do you guys think?
He wasn't below average. I think he belongs in average in terms of fucking hell. That's difficult. How can he be on the same tier as Rodrigo, right?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
I just want to create a new category and say like it needs to improve or something like
that. Below average, I think.
Yeah, below average.
Should be below average then. Yeah. Below average.
Yeah, let's just add a new.
Should be below average. He definitely had some high points. A couple of good assists against Sociedad at home, if I'm not mistaken, for Joselu. The goal he scored away at Granada. I mean, there is a player there. Especially when he kind of became a bit part player, and when he came on, he really breathed new life into games, giving us that extra energy down the left flank. So there is a player there. Like, I'm not gonna be like on the bandwagon to sell him or ship him out. I am really back in Fran to play a very important role next season. But yeah, moving on. Ceballos.
Yeah, your favorite player. You should take it.
No, I don't want to take it. I'll just say below average. When he came on, looked like
definitely
looked like he was rusty. Yeah, he doesn't get the minutes. So how can we even weigh him?
For me, even in the minutes he got, I didn't think his performances really lived up to it. Last season we saw the determination and the commitment. I don't think we saw it this season. For me, he goes into below average. I wouldn't even put him in not enough minutes.
Keep it moving. Who's next?
Farouk, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. There's no show over
that. I knew it. That's why I said, it's a waste of time.
Next one is Kepa. This one is going to be interesting, I think.
Right. I have 19% on my left charge on my phone. But Kepa,
what do you guys
quickly.
Think?
Average when there's nothing like him. I mean, he wasn't good enough to usurp. Looney was good. So
but the hate is a bit undeserved. Like, looking back, he had a good few months.
For me, I think that when Kepa was playing, he was pretty good. He had a few blunders, but then he kind of felt unfair when he lost his spot. So when he was playing, he was pretty good, especially if you look at the statistics. So I don't know, but if you guys agree with him being like below average, it's fine. Like, average is fine.
Average should be fine.
Average is fine.
On the eye test, he just gave me a lot more to be tensed about watching games than Loon did. That's the only thing that I would blame Kepa for. I was very against the signing, but how he fared, it puts a smile on my face. Won a double with Real Madrid, like, he can boast about it.
And he could potentially be back next
100%.
season. He could potentially be back next season if Lunin leaves.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Lunin leaving, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that, but I completely understand from a professional, viewpoint. Who's next, Mo?
Courtois.
Not enough minutes.
Not enough minutes? Are you sure?
But
I mean, I do agree with not enough minutes, but the thing is, like, when he did have minutes, he was like very important in the Champions League, especially the final.
But it should be not enough minutes. Come on, man. Last month he turns up, wins the Champions League. Good on him. I mean, good on him. Like, nobody's going to question.
We might not have won the Champions League.
I know, but nobody's going to question his credentials based on the steer because they know we don't have enough evidence of him this
For me
season
personally, the
to
4 or 5 games
suggest
he
a
played, he was
rating.
like he was world class. For me,
So you're gonna put him world class for a month?
No,
chance,
I totally
no chance.
I totally understand where you guys are coming from, but I'm just telling you my feeling.
No, I kind of echo it a bit. He was immense. He was immense. Save against Adeyemi. Nobody's gonna forget that, but it is what it is. Deservedly so. He won the Champions League, being a goalkeeper, between the sticks, and yeah, man. I think that's pretty much it. Who else?
Militao is the last one, and after that, Carletto.
Militao.
I mean, he was poor
Man,
when he
I
played.
love the kid.
He was poor when he
I
played.
love the kid. Yeah, I love the kid. But bro, even before he got injured, like let's be honest, he was better than when he came back, right? Before he got injured, like he was decent. He was okay. He was holding his own. But after he came back, whether it be a combination of rustiness, getting back into shape, he just looked completely lost. I still hope, he can redeem himself. He's still young. There's a long way to go before we can completely write off Militao, but the signs are not looking good. Not enough minutes should be the thing.
Not enough minutes, not
But
below
yeah,
average.
no,
Nah,
not enough minutes.
not enough. I mean, he came back from a very brutal injury, man. So I mean, so you have to give the benefit of the doubt there.
Okay, and the last one is Carletto.
Farouk, I'll let you take it.
A class above world class. I think the point here is that we have to understand that, considering all what happened this year, like all the things that happened before the season, Karim Benzema leaving, your world class keeper,
45 injuries.
No, I mean put it into context. Like your Ballon d'Or is leaving, right? Arguably, the next best short team you have in the team is your keeper. He gets injured, and he's so with someone that you don't even fucking know that you have to go and get keeper, because of how unsure you are with the keeper. And then your best defender also gets injured. You understand? So it's crazy, man. Like, I mean, of course, like everyone knows my feeling about Carl, and that's never going to change. It's always going to be really the same. But considering the circumstances, what happened and what did not happen, what he was able to achieve, I think is nothing short of phenomenal. And as I said after the final as well, that just pushes him, in my opinion, at least I don't think there's a better coaching. I mean, influential is a different term. But a better, football coach, football manager in the history of the game, I don't think there is. You can name your Sir Alexis, your Psyches, your whatever. I just don't think there is anything better than that.
Yes, so I created a new tier. It's called Farouk's tier, and Carletto is in that one at the top, right at the top.
That's a leaf, eh?
Yeah, it shouldn't be Farouk's tier, but yeah, like he shouldn't be, a guy who completely, disregarded him for the major part of 2 years. Shouldn't have his own tier.
Yeah, but you guys should give me a better
opinion.
name for it. But I totally understand Farouk's sentiment, and I kind of agree. Maybe
World class.
No, not in a tier of his own,
Because-
above everything, everybody.
That should be Cruz and Carlo then.
No. Like Carlos stands out.
For me,
Carlo
it's
stands
Carlo
out.
because of the number of injuries we had and everything. So I think there should be
Carlos stands out, man.
exceptional tier or something.
Carlos tier, and put Carlo in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tier Carletto.
Don't tier.
Okay.
Don't tier. Put Carlo in.
Okay. Done.
Right. That's it. But yeah, man, Carlo. What is there left to be said regarding what he has managed to achieve throughout various points in the season? Me and Farouk was on the same page, which I found shocking, which he found shocking, which many of us found shocking, because I love Carlo a lot, and the way some of the games were panning out wasn't really easy to watch. I really, it put a lot of years on me. Games like the City game, wasn't really happy. Although the outcome was favorable, sitting through it was a pain. But this man just know how to win. At the end, nobody's going to look back at that game and say, "Oh yeah, like we had to basically set it out for 180, not 180, for 90 minutes, 120 minutes at the Etihad." But he just has the knack to know what a game needs and implement it to the T. In the final against Dortmund, yes, we were on the ropes, but the way he kind of lifted his players up in the halftime dressing room speech or whatever he did. Maybe he gave them a few packs of chiclets. Who knows? But the team came out a different side in the second half, completely blew Dortmund out of the water. yeah, man, Carleto, no words. Honorable shout outs to Luis Lopez, Francesco Mori, Davide, Pentas. These guys, what they have done this season, I think it'll be hard to be topped. I think the only thing that can top this season is basically a treble winning season. And I hope that is next, inshallah. But yeah, the season is going down in history for all the right reasons. Unbeaten in the Champions League, first time that we did. Only the fifth time Real Madrid wins a double. Man, Carlo without a striker, bro, this guy is the absolute truth. No matter if people are on the same side, regarding his play style, his defensive tactics, they'll all agree in unison that this man is basically numero uno when it comes to winning. Mo?
You've said everything. I don't think I have anything to add. You and Farouk have covered pretty much everything that needs to be said about Carleto, and it's just it's kind of like endearing for me to see like everybody giving him the due praise that he deserves, not just on this channel but also around the world, because I think Ancelotti has been underrated by a lot of people as a manager, as what he brings for his qualities. Everybody kind of tries to pigeonhole him into just a man manager, but he's not that. He's a lot more than that. And this season, through his skillful management of how we were in certain situations, he has completely shown that this guy has both the management side down as well as the tactical side down. So he completely changed the way Real Madrid played. He completely changed the way Real Madrid set up. He completely changed the way Real Madrid progressed the ball, the way Real Madrid defend, the way Real Madrid do pretty much everything. So for me, and not only did it do that just once, he did multiple times during the season. And then like you mentioned, multiple times during the season, we would go into the halftime like struggling a little bit, but then come out and completely dominate the game. So that ability to see what the game was missing and to make those changes, what can you say when you see a manager do that over and over and over and over again? So for me, Ancelotti, definitely the best manager Europe has seen this season, and definitely a vindication for all good that he has done throughout his career. And I hope he continues winning titles with Real Madrid as the seasons go. And like you said, this season can only be topped by a treble. Hopefully next season will be that.
Fingers crossed. Touch wood. He has a new headache, a couple of new, very welcome headaches in terms of how he sets up the midfield, whether we go back to a 4-3-3 or we stick to the diamond formation that won as a double. It's got to be interesting. And hopefully success awaits. More success awaits. Mbappe, Lenny Oro, probably Endrick is I think a tip to be unveiled end of next month as well. So big days coming up. And yeah, man, big up every single one of you again. People who are in the chat, people who will be tuning into this later on in our audio platforms as well. We couldn't read out many of the comments. I hope you guys understand the fact that if we kind of tried to get a lot of the conversation kind of.
We had one super chat today. It's from Ashik, and he says Ceballos world class just for Sunet.
Big up Ashik, big up. You didn't mention that. You should have mentioned it
right
away.
It just came.
Just came in, yeah? Okay. Big up Ashik. Yeah, Ceballos deserves a super chat to basically find a home in Betis, man. He better move and for his own career. But yeah, Ashik, appreciate it, bro. But yeah, man, big up every single one of you. Who'll be tuning in later on at the audio platforms as well. Mo will be providing us with the link so that you can basically make your own tier charts for this season review as well. And tag us on Instagram at Let's Be Real 1902. Let's Be Real 1902, and you guys we would reshare it and repost and whatnot. But yeah, man, big up our partners, Real Madrid Committee on Instagram as well. Go check them out. They're on a brilliant Real Madrid fan page. Been with us from day one. Go check out manscaped.com. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Final thoughts, Farouk? Season closer.
Great season, man. Great end to the season. You just can't ask for more, honestly. as you mentioned, we have, a very interesting, season to look forward to next, but just let's enjoy what we can enjoy now because you don't know what the future is going to bring. So, let's enjoy the double and hopefully, next year we find something more interesting. I at least hope so, certainly, with the additions and lack thereof. Well, it's been great, man. Like, it's been great. And, we just have to go and support our boys, Brazil, England, Uruguay, and so on and so forth. Like just, let them do well in the international tournament and hope that they come out unscathed. That's the important thing right now.
Mo, I think you have basically summed it up. If you want to add something more.
No, man, I completely agree with Farouk. The only thing I would disagree with him is like wearing the Italy shirt when none of our players for Italy. So get a better national team jersey. But apart from that, jokes aside, I mean, what a wonderful season this was. Lots of memories made. We didn't really expect this level of performances going into it, but coming out of it, like there can be no complaints, especially given the number of injuries and the challenges that the team dealt with. Hoping for an even better next season next year. I mean, that can only be with a treble. So I kind of feel like thankless. But yeah, this is Real Madrid. We win the 15th. We wonder about how we're going to win the 16th. So, next season, even better. Hopefully with Mbappe, we score a ton of goals. We win a ton of titles. And same time next year, we're back talking about how brilliant Real Madrid's season was and how Kylian Mbappe completely revolutionized us and how Real Madrid are now 16 times champions of Europe.
Agree with everything apart from the fact that the Azuri shirt is basically Farouk showing some solidarity.
No, I mean
Farouk showing some solidarity towards my well-being because watching the Italian national side has broken me. They look so mid. But yeah. Yeah, man. Shout out to Sunaid as well, the only guy who had bestowed upon the expectation of winning the Champions League from the get-go, basically, in a season where the expectations weren't supposed to be the Champions League. I was very, very confident that this team would fight tooth and nail to basically go far in the competition. Winning the Champions League was never in my wildest dreams. I expected this to be the year we win the 15th, but not gonna lie, one of the most satisfying wins. Like, I don't know, like how it can be as sweet as the 14th, because nothing can ever be as sweet as the 14th or the 10th. But just because of the sheer amount of adversity we had to overcome, this belongs up there as well. And one of the few times I've really cried, watching a Real Madrid game was the final. Absolutely. A memory that I'll take to the grave. But yeah, man, couldn't thank these boys, the staff, the club enough. If not for them, our lives would be so fucking dull. This club means everything to all of us. So hopefully, like what Mo said, inshallah, a por la 16th next season. Until next time, people. Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.